The glow from my phone screen was the only light in the room. I refreshed the page. Again. And again. There was trending. My name. My face. My voice. Twisted. At L. Martin official is done. No room for manipulators here. My breath caught. Not because of what they said, but because of who said it. Jenna.
Trey.
Malik. People I'd stood beside when no one else would. I clicked the group chat we all used for content planning. You've been removed from this group. That was it. No warning. No explanation. Just deleted. Then another ping. An email from the brand I'd worked with for 2 years. Given recent developments, we're terminating our partnership effective immediately. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just sat there. Frozen. Like my body forgot how to feel anything except empty. My roommate Kayla peeked in. Elle? Everything okay? I nodded, but something inside me knew. Nothing would ever be the same again. And still, somehow, this was only the beginning. If you asked anyone who the golden child was in the Martin family, the answer was automatic. Ava. My older sister.
The pianist.
The pageant winner. The perfect one. Mom used to joke, we made all our parenting mistakes on Elle. Ava got the refined version. I used to laugh too, until I realized they weren't joking. My earliest memory of it was Christmas, maybe 7 or 8. I had spent weeks helping Mom decorate, wrapping Ava's gifts, even writing labels in my neatest handwriting. Christmas morning came, and Ava tore open a brand new electric keyboard. I got socks. Mom kissed my cheek and said, "You're practical, baby. Ava needs the tools to shine." Dad just nodded, like that made sense. Like I was made to support the shine, not be the shine. At school, I was the one who stayed behind to clean up after events. I wasn't loud or funny or cool, but I worked hard.
Teachers liked me.
Friends leaned on me, but no one saw me. Not the way they saw Ava. Not the way they saw them, the people who would later cancel me. Senior year, I got accepted into Columbia, full scholarship. I walked into the living room, letter in hand, grinning. Dad didn't even look up from his laptop. Did Ava hear back from Juilliard yet? Ava didn't even apply. But it didn't matter. That pattern of invisibility followed me everywhere. At work, I was the first to arrive and last to leave. At family reunions, I was the one carrying trays and pouring drinks. Online, I built the pages, scheduled the posts, created the strategy. The faces in front of the camera? That was Trey, Malik, Jenna. They were the voices. I was just the keyboard. The rise of our content collective was fast and bright. We called ourselves the Merge. Trey had the charisma. Jenna brought the aesthetic. Malik was the comedian. And me? I was the glue. I coordinated campaigns, negotiated brand deals, built the website, set up merch. Even when they joked, "We should call you Mama Jarrell," I smiled. Because I thought I was part of it. I thought we were building something together. There was one night that still sits heavy in my chest. We'd just hit 500K followers across our socials. Trey raised his glass. To the Merge, and to the people who make the magic happen. He looked around.
Pass me.
Right at Jenna. Everyone cheered. I clapped too. And swallowed the lump in my throat. I once asked Mom why she never posted my achievements, when she proudly shared Ava's gigs, recitals, even brunch pics. She didn't pause. Elle, your sister's path is more public. Yours is behind the scenes. As if that meant I should want less, need less. As if silence was something to aspire to. But silence grows heavy when it's expected of you. When you're always the one to step back so others can step forward. When you give and give and give, and it still isn't enough to be chosen. I remember sitting with Jenna one rainy afternoon. She was crying over a brand canceling her over a tweet. I stayed up all night writing a heartfelt email to get them to reconsider. They did. She thanked me once, then told the others she fixed it. It became a joke. Jenna always pulls through. And I smiled. Again. But that night, I remember looking in the mirror and whispering, maybe one day, someone will fight for me too. Now, sitting on the edge of my bed, canceled and cut off, I realized something. They never really saw me as part of it. Because people don't cancel what they value. They just cancel what they think they can replace. The sunlight was intrusive, aggressive even, for a morning like this. I hadn't slept. Not really. My brain kept replaying every post, every share, every whisper online that had my name in it, usually attached to words like manipulator, control freak, toxic.
Toxic.
It echoed like a cruel inside joke. Because if I was toxic, I must have been radioactive and just never knew. I opened Instagram. Jenna had posted a black and white photo with a caption that read, "Sometimes you have to let go of people who were never really on your side. Grateful for clarity. Grateful for growth. Hashtag boundaries, hashtag healing." Over 18,000 likes. Mala commented, "Proud of you. Finally free." Trey added a fire emoji. I didn't exist in their version of events. No at. No conversation. No confrontation. Just erased. The first direct message came from a mutual follower. "Hey, what's going on? Did you really do all that stuff they're saying?" No context. No curiosity. Just assumption. And then came the flood. Unfollows. Unsubscribes. Emails from PR teams. A podcast I was booked to speak on quietly removed my promo graphic. No call. No warning. That afternoon, I got a call from Sienna, our old publicist. I let it ring twice before answering. I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry. I waited. She continued, "The team decided it's best if you don't attend CreatorCon next month. There's buzz. And people are uncomfortable." "I built half the CreatorCon lineup," I whispered. "I know," she said low. "But optics matter right now." Optics. Not truth. Not loyalty. Optics. The irony? Just a month ago, I was the one staying up late editing Trey's documentary reel. Jenna had called me crying over anxiety, and I rescheduled my pitch meeting just to talk her through it. I had literally created the calendar and content schedule for the quarter they were now profiting from, without me. They used my systems, my formats, my roadmap. But suddenly, I was too much. I remember one text thread just days before it happened. I had gently pushed back on a caption Trey wanted to use that I felt could be misinterpreted. He wrote, "You're always finding problems. Just trust the process." To which Malik replied, "Yeah, we get that you care, but it's draining." Jenna added, "This vibe isn't it anymore." That was the beginning of the end. But I didn't see it. I didn't even know there was a group call where they decided to move on without me. I found out from a 27-second voice memo Jenna accidentally sent me, meant for someone else. It's just she's too controlling. Like, Elle doesn't let things breathe. We're the face of this. We can't have someone always pulling strings behind us. That was the first time I heard the word controlling used like that, like it was a weapon. By nightfall, I deleted every calendar invite, closed our shared folder access, and sent a final email, removing myself from all merge operations. "Thank you for the journey. I wish you well." No one replied, not even an emoji. Kayla walked into my room that night with 2 mugs of tea. She looked at me gently, then sat on the floor beside my bed. "You gonna say anything?" I stared at the wall. "There's nothing to say." "Elle, do you even want to defend yourself?" "I don't think they'd listen." Silence. And then she said something I'll never forget. "So don't speak for them. Speak for you. Build your own mic, make it so loud they can't mute you." A week later, I went live. Not to rant.
Not to cry.
Just to speak. No notes. No script.
Hey.
I know a lot's being said about me. I won't defend what's not true, because the truth doesn't need performance. But I will say this. I've worked hard. I've poured in. And I've been silent long enough. So, I'm not asking for a place at the table anymore. I'm building a new one. And I ended it.
Just like that.
The video started spreading. Slowly. A stranger commented, "Never heard of Elle Martin before. But damn, that's a grown woman. Respect." Another reply, "Y'all canceled the project manager of your success? Okay, lol. One person tagged all 3 former collaborators and wrote, "So, y'all just deleted the one who built the merge? This ain't sitting right." I realized something that night. They didn't cancel me because I was a problem. They canceled me because I stopped being silent, because I stopped shrinking, because I started asking for credit. And people like me, the quiet workers, the behind-the-scenes glue, were easy to replace until we finally stop asking for crumbs. The buzz slowed down after a few days. No viral apology. No sudden clarity. Just silence. But this time, the silence wasn't empty. It was mine. I woke up that morning and deleted the merged Dropbox from my laptop. All the folders. The timelines. The plans I had carefully created and maintained for the last 2 years.
Gone.
I didn't announce it. I didn't message them.
I just cleared space.
Literal and emotional. Next, I opened my finance tracker. There were 3 recurring monthly charges I'd been covering without acknowledgement. One for our social media scheduler, one for the podcast host, and one for the shared design suite. I tapped cancel subscription on all 3. A notification popped up. Are you sure?
Yes.
Absolutely. Kayla texted me. Did you just kill the merge's posting tool? I replied with one emoji, nail polish. She sent back. You're terrifying. I love it. It was funny how the world kept spinning. Birds still chirped. Emails still came in. But my internal rhythm had shifted. I stopped checking the group's Instagram. I archived old photos. I muted their names. Not out of pettiness, but protection. I was done performing neutrality for people who had no problem performing betrayal. The first thing I created was mine. No team. No brainstorming Zoom. No pitch deck. Just a Notion page titled, "The Next ERA, Unfiltered." I didn't fully know what it was going to be, a podcast, a newsletter, a YouTube channel. Didn't matter. All I knew was, no one was cutting me out this time. There had been this one time a year ago where I pitched an idea about building out individual brand lanes within the merge, giving each of us space to shine. Trey shut it down immediately. We're stronger as a collective. Translation: we're stronger when you stay in your place. I saw it now. I began waking up early, not for meetings but for me. I walked, read, wrote, breathed. I revisited old skills I had tucked away. Our writing stories, designing from scratch, talking to a camera without waiting for approval. I wasn't building revenge. I was building return. 3 weeks post-cancellation, I met with a small women-led brand that followed me after my live. Your voice? It's what we want. You say what people are scared to admit. I blinked. You want me to be the face? Yes, she said.
You.
No merge. No mask. That meeting was the start of a small, slow flame. But it was mine. Even my dad, who rarely texted, messaged out of the blue. Saw your video. Didn't realize you did all that. Proud of you. I stared at that line for 5 minutes. And then I saved it. Because I had lived 28 years waiting for that exact sentence. The last dinner before all of this, I remember clearing the plates while Ava talked about a minor TV cameo she had. Everyone cheered. My mom hugged her 3 times. I had just signed a 6-month consulting contract for a top-tier brand. No one even asked what I was working on. I had wanted to scream. Instead, I just said, "Excuse me," and washed dishes until my hands hurt. I opened up a blank post.
Typed out.
They removed me from something I built, but I remembered who I was before they branded me. Posted it. No hashtags. No marketing strategy. Just truth. It got 312 likes. Not viral, but each like?
Real.
Each comment? Thoughtful. Each follower? Mine. Dr. Gomez leaned back in her chair. You're not angry? I smiled. I was.
But now?
I'm just tired of bleeding in places that never clot. She nodded. That's growth. Is it? I asked. Because it feels more like death. Sometimes, she said, we have to bury what we built for others to finally start building for ourselves. Kayla convinced me to sit down and record a 10-minute YouTube video.
Title:
I wasn't canceled. I was called back to myself.
She helped me set up the mic.
I pressed record. And I told my story, the whole thing. No name calling. No bitterness. Just facts. And hope. By the end of the month, I had no idea if this new thing would work. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel erased. I didn't feel replaceable. I didn't feel ashamed. I felt free. Not because they were gone, but because I finally was. It started with a comment. I remember Elle from that community fundraiser 2 years ago. She organized the whole thing. Never took credit. I always wondered why the merge never mentioned her. Then another. I used her Canva templates to grow my brand. I didn't even know she was part of that team. Then it kept coming. Elle gave me my first internship when no one else would. She answered my cold email in college when I was panicking about my future. She's the real one. Y'all just late. I blinked at the screen. Hundreds of strangers. And yet, somehow they knew me better than the people I built my world with. A blue checkmark appeared in my inbox. Rachel Miles, a content strategist I'd quietly admired for years. Hey Elle, I just watched your video. And I need you to know what you did. That's leadership.
I've followed you for a while.
The merge was shiny, but you were the one I trusted. You didn't just influence, you impacted. If you're ever open to a collab, I'm here. I read it 3 times. This wasn't someone I knew. This wasn't someone who owed me anything.
She just saw me.
I called Kayla, heart pounding. Rachel Miles just messaged me. Wait, the Rachel Miles? Like Forbes featured, brand queen Rachel Miles? I laughed.
Yeah.
Kayla screamed into a pillow. I told you. Then came a text from my Aunt Lisa, Mom's cousin, quiet at every family gathering. Just wanted you to know, I watched your video. I remember when you helped your mom run the entire church fundraiser solo while Ava got an award for just attending. I always knew you were the engine behind everything. You've got your grandfather's strength. I hadn't heard from her in over a year. I cried in the kitchen while boiling pasta. Not because I was sad. Because someone remembered. A recruiter from a major media outlet reposted my video with a caption. Leadership isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet ones building legacies in the background. Watch this. Views, 22,000. Shares, 500 plus. Offers, 3 brand collabs. One of them came from a tech startup that Jenna had rejected months ago. They wanted me now. 2 weeks later, I got an invite to be on a podcast titled Unmuted, Women Who Built. The host? Shayla Dean, a Harvard professor turned speaker. She emailed personally. Elle, your story is what I teach in my leadership seminars. You didn't burn bridges, you outgrew them. You turned erasure into emergence. When we recorded, she said, where others saw noise, I saw blueprint. You created something foundational.
And now?
You're doing it again without apology. Trey, meanwhile, had launched a new series on YouTube. He mentioned in episode 2, it's been hard without our original team. You don't realize what you've lost until the system breaks. Someone in the comments replied, so y'all do miss Elle, huh? Another comment, if she was the system, maybe y'all weren't the creators after all. The thread exploded. And, for the first time, they couldn't control the narrative. Because someone outside their circle had seen me and spoken.
And now?
The story was bigger than their silence. Rachel and I finally met on a call. Elle, I've built platforms. I've built teams. And I know when someone is the backbone. You've got the blueprint and the bravery. I feel like I've been invisible for years, I admitted. She shook her head. No, honey. You were just standing in the wrong light. She offered to co-create a mini-series on resilience and brand identity, featuring me. Subject: you inspired me to stay. Hi, Elle. I'm a first-gen college student. I was about to drop out. Then I saw your video. You said something about not asking for space at the table anymore, and I realized I've been begging to be seen in rooms I built furniture for. I'm staying. Thank you. Amanda R., Missouri. I read it twice. 3 times. I emailed her back. I didn't plan to attend. But Aunt Lisa insisted. Just come for dessert. No pressure. When I walked in, I expected silence. Instead, two cousins I hadn't spoken to in years walked up. "I saw your video," one said. "That was brave. You've always been the one holding this family together." "We just didn't say it out loud," the other added. Then, even my mom, always guarded, handed me a slice of pie and said, quietly, "You've changed. I'm sorry it took me so long to see what was always there." That apology wasn't everything, but it was something. They canceled Elle, but I found her, and I'm never going back. Subscribed to her. They tried to erase me in public, but the truth found its way through back doors, blog posts, and broken silences. And it said, "You were never too much. You were just too whole for half-hearted people." It started with an email.
Subject:
"Let's talk. Hey Elle, I know a lot's happened. I just wanted to say there's no bad blood from my side. We all went through a lot, and maybe things got out of hand. I'd love to reconnect. Maybe even explore ways to collaborate again. We're open to a merge reunion project if you're down. No pressure. Just love. Trey." I didn't respond, because even in the apology, he didn't apologize. Just deflected, minimized. Jenna posted a story the next day. "Growth requires uncomfortable conversations." Then a quote slide. "We're all human. Don't cancel people. Heal with them."
Cute.
Considering she never reached out to me directly, Kayla raised her brow. "So, they're on a PR cleanse now." "More like an image rehab," I muttered. "Damage control?" "Exactly." 2 days later, Malik messaged me directly. "First time since the fallout. Elle, no hard feelings, okay? I think people misunderstood everything. I don't know who started all that mess, but we never meant to hurt you." No accountability.
Just pass the blame.
He followed up with, "You think maybe you could take down the live video? It's making things complicated with brands."
Ah.
There it was. It wasn't about my healing. It was about their deals, their opportunities, their optics. I filmed a short, silent time-lapse video of myself setting up my studio. No captions, just visuals. No hashtags, just the sound of construction. Building. Again. That 27-second clip got 88,000 views in a day. "Heard from your sister that your video is still floating around. Maybe take the high road and let it go now." This, from the woman who never reposted a single project of mine until one of her friends forwarded her my viral post. I didn't reply, because I had taken the high road. It just didn't include detours back into dysfunction. Trey posted a throwback group photo on the merge page. Caption: "We've all grown, ready to reconnect and create magic again. Tag your favorite memory from the old days." The comments section turned chaotic. "Where's Elle? Is this y'all's apology tour? No reunion without the MVP. You mean reconnect with the one you erased?" I got an email from their new brand manager. "Hi Elle. We're reaching out to invite you to participate in a reconciliation docu-series we're developing, exploring cancel culture, growth, and second chances. We believe your voice is essential to the story. We'd be happy to compensate and give full editorial review. Let us know if you'd be open to discussing." They wanted to monetize my pain, turn my real hurt into their next campaign. I read the email to Rachel. She laughed. "So now you're their redemption arc." I nodded. "Feels like it." She paused, then said, "You know what's wild? You're the one with the actual platform now." I smiled. "Feels like it. Hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. Just saw your last interview. Didn't realize you were doing so much. I was wondering, could you help me get into the influencer space? I think you'd be the perfect mentor." That line. The perfect mentor. I had waited years to hear words like that.
But now?
It didn't feel like validation. It felt like extraction. Another attempt to pull from me without truly seeing me. Yes, that Netstream. A producer reached out after seeing my podcast episode. "We're producing a docuseries on modern digital cancel culture, but from the angle of who actually gets canceled and who benefits from it. Would you be open to joining?" This time, the spotlight wasn't being used to erase me.
It was inviting me to speak.
Truthfully. Fully. Last time I'll message you. Just wanted to say,
I'm sorry.
we didn't realize what we had. Or who you were. I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty. But because I no longer needed his clarity to confirm my worth. Dr. Gomez asked me, do you think they mean it now? I think they mean the part that benefits them, I said. And how does that make you feel? Honestly, I shrugged. It used to feel like drowning. Now it feels like background noise. That brand manager email? I deleted it. No scene. No reply. Just closure. No announcement. No clapback. No final word. Just nothing. Because they had enough airtime. And I had reclaimed my own. It was late. Nearly midnight. I was about to close my laptop when I saw it. Subject line. You don't know me, but you saved me. The message began. Hi, Elle. My name is Madison. I'm 17. I live in a small town in Indiana. No one here understands what I want to do with my life. I've always been the quiet one, the girl behind the scenes, making everything run, but never getting credit. I found your video by accident. It felt like someone had finally put my feelings into words. I was planning to give up, to stop trying. But then I saw you, and I thought, if Elle can be erased and still rise, maybe I can too. Thank you. Not just for what you do, but for being Madison Green. I read it 5 times. Then I cried, not because I was sad, but because someone somewhere had seen me and in doing so, saw herself. A month later, I launched a new podcast. Title: Backbone. Stories of the ones who held it together. Episode 1. They called me too much until they needed me. It was raw, personal, vulnerable, and I ended with a call-out. This is for every woman who's ever been the foundation but never the face. You are not invisible. You are irreplaceable. The feedback was overwhelming. DMs, comments, emails, from assistants, from teachers, from caregivers, from creators, all saying the same thing. Finally, someone's saying it. A girl named Zoe messaged me. You don't remember me, but I was your intern in 2021. You gave me a free copy of your planner because I said I couldn't afford it. That planner helped me land my first job. Just wanted you to know, I'm now the senior coordinator at a nonprofit, and we use your old merge template for our systems.
She ended it with,
You left fingerprints on people you forgot you touched.
I stared at that line.
She had no idea how much I needed to hear it.
Elle.
Check your inbox. I sent something. I opened the file. A digital billboard mock-up. My face. My quote. You don't need their table. Build your own. She captioned it. Thought this should be in Times Square. It was a joke. But 2 weeks later, it wasn't. My face. My quote. My voice. Lit up. Not because I begged. Not because I begged for forgiveness or space or validation. But because I finally stopped asking and started owning. Guessed? Ava Martin, my sister.
Yes.
That Ava. She asked to come on. I didn't understand what you were carrying, she said. I just saw you handling everything and thought it was easy. I never asked what it cost you. I stayed quiet. She added, Thank you for doing what no one thanked you for. It wasn't a full repair, but it was a real moment. And I gave her space, not because she earned it, but because I no longer needed to be angry to be strong. Someone typed, You're my North Star. The way you held it together, it gives me permission to stop proving myself to people who refuse to see me. I read it aloud, and I said, You never needed permission. But if you're waiting for a sign, let this be it. No return address. Elle. I was part of the merge community. I unfollowed you when the rumors started. I believed what they said. I'm ashamed. But now I know the truth. I see it in every move you've made since. You didn't burn bridges. You built your own world. Please forgive me for being silent. And thank you for speaking when no one else would. An old fan, who's now a loyal follower. I folded the letter gently and placed it in a box marked proof. Not of what happened, but of what healed. Today, we welcome Elle Martin, digital strategist, speaker, and founder of the Backbone platform. teen girls leaned forward. I told them everything. Not the polished version. The real one. The betrayal. The erasure. The rage. And the rebuilding. And when I finished, a student raised her hand. What's the biggest thing you've learned? I smiled. That being overlooked doesn't make you unworthy. It makes you dangerous to systems built on silence. They clapped. But more importantly, they understood. They tried to cancel me. But I became the blueprint, the resource, the reminder, not of pain, but of possibility. Because kindness comes back around. And sometimes, the seeds you planted in silence grow forests you didn't even know you started. It was late September. The air was crisp. My planner was full. My podcast had hit a milestone. And then, Trey emailed again. Hey Elle, I know you're busy, but I'd really appreciate just a few minutes to talk. In person. No pressure. I think we owe it to ourselves to bring some peace. I stared at the message for a long time. There was no anger in me. No fear either. Just stillness. 2 hours later, my mom called. She rarely called twice. I picked up. Elle, Trey stopped by the house. I blinked. What? He left a letter. Said it was personal.
For you.
Silence stretched. I haven't read it, she said quickly. But he said he just wants to make things right. 2 days later, the letter arrived. It read, I kept telling myself we were all victims of the moment. But the truth is, we made a choice. I made a choice to let you carry the weight. Because it was easier. I thought if we didn't name you, we weren't hurting you. But erasure is violence. You didn't deserve that. You were the architect. We just lived in the house you built. No ask. No request. Just an ending. Or an attempt at one. Kayla sipped her tea. Are you going to respond? I shrugged. What would I even say? She looked at me. You don't have to say anything. Silence can be sacred. I nodded. I'm not mad anymore. Then what are you? Free. In my early 20s, I said yes to everything. Need help moving? Yes. Can you cover my shift?
Yes.
Will you volunteer? Stay late, come early, make peace, bite your tongue? Always yes. Even when I was tired. Even when I was breaking. Because I thought love meant availability. Now, I understood. Boundaries are love too. Saturday. I was watering my plants when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, there stood Malik. I blinked. He had a half smile, hands in pockets. Hey Elle. Hey. Can we talk? I didn't invite him in. I didn't step outside. I just looked him in the eyes and said, calmly.
No.
No apology. No excuse. No anger. Just no. I closed the door. No slam. No drama. Just peace. And that felt louder than any argument I'd ever had. She'd emailed again. I think it would be healing for everyone if you joined us for Thanksgiving. We can reset. I wrote back. I'm not angry, but I'm not coming. I've spent too many holidays watching other people be celebrated while I served in the kitchen. I'm creating my own traditions now. She didn't reply. And I didn't wait. I told the story. All of it. How I said no at the door. How I turned down the docuseries. How I didn't go home for Thanksgiving. And then I looked into the mic and said, no is a full sentence. No doesn't require an explanation. No isn't cruel. It's clarity. I hosted my first ever Friendsgiving. Kayla made mac and cheese. Rachel flew in. Even Zoe, my former intern, helped with dessert. We laughed. We danced. We toasted to growth. Someone said, to Elle. I raised my glass and smiled. To release, I added, Dear Elle, you thought saying no would make you alone. But look around. You've never been more held. You didn't slam the door. You just stopped holding it open for people who never planned to stay. I said no to my family for the first time this year. Because of you. And I've never felt more powerful. Years ago, I sat at the table with clenched fists and a locked jaw, letting myself be passed over for praise, for credit, for attention. I thought if I said something, I'd lose them. Turns out, Losing that version of them was how I found myself. It came just before New Year's. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I've been watching everything you're doing. And honestly, I'm inspired. If you're ever open to reconnecting, I'm here. I didn't block her. I didn't lash out. I just archived the message.
That door didn't need to be slammed.
It just needed to stay closed. There was a time I thought being quiet meant being strong. That if I didn't complain, didn't cry, didn't call anyone out, I'd be loved more, chosen more, respected more. But the truth is, silence doesn't protect you. It just delays your freedom.
They didn't cancel me. They revealed themselves.
And once I saw the truth, I couldn't unsee it. To anyone watching this, who's been erased, overlooked, left out of the story they helped write, I see you. Your kindness is not weakness. Your boundaries are not betrayal. And your no? It doesn't make you difficult. It makes you clear. You are not too much. You are simply too real for people who pretend. So, if you've been waiting for permission to leave the table, to build your own, to stop shrinking, let this be it. Not every ending is loud. Some are just free.